latest coming in that Heeraba's mortal remains have been brought to Gandhinagar from the UN Mehta Cardiology and Research Center in Gujarat. The mortal remains have now been shifted to Gandhinagar. That's the residence. These are the visuals coming in from the residence where Prime Minister Modi will shortly be reaching in just about the next few minutes is what we are being told. Gaurav Sawant continues to be with us. Gaurav, you know, one would have to just read the blog, which was so personal, but perhaps for the first time that Prime Minister Modi had revealed the lessons, because till now, yes, we had seen the visuals, but we didn't really know the kind of impact that that Heeraba Modi's lessons or life has had on Prime Minister Modi. And it's very interesting when he says that I always had distinct habits. I was always trying to either, you know, go to and read more about Vivekanand. I would want to take bath in the open, have distinct habits of eating. I was the only one wanting to constantly experiment, and my mother was always on board. She let me do it. She didn't see that as a problem or a burden. My father sometimes did, but my mother was always supportive, and that boosts that confidence to explore as a child, as a teenager, then leave home, do what you wish to. All of these were decisions he was taking, but for the mother to say go ahead and do it was the confidence that a young Narendra Modi would have needed.
Indeed, you're absolutely right. His mother always stood by him. His mother was, as the Prime Minister mentioned, the pillar of his strength. And you know, when he writes in the blog, he says mother is not just any other word in the dictionary. It encompasses the whole range of emotions, and he mentions those emotions that he felt interacting with his mother. And he said, you know, while I write about my mother, you would have the image of your mother in your mind, you know, love, patience, trust, and a lot more. Across the world, irrespective of country or region, children have a special affection for their mother. A mother not only gives birth to her children, but this is where it becomes extremely important when we say the mother is the first school of an individual, or she's the first guru of an individual, where he says she shapes their mind, their personality, and their self-confidence. And while doing so, mothers selflessly sacrifice their own personal needs and aspirations. So this is something that's always stayed with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The sacrifices made by his mother for his life to be, you know, the way it was. She stood by him in every decision that he took. And that was seen not just as a Bal Narendra Modi or a young Narendra Modi or the Tapasvi, you know, when he went to Kedarnath and spent some time there, or subsequently in his political life as Chief Minister of Gujarat, but also as the Prime Minister of India. And there are these three instances, Pooja, that you and I recall. One was of demonetization, that at her age, that time she was standing in the queue to get money changed. And here was the Prime Minister's mother. You know, she could have had all the privileges, but no. Again, leading by example. Vaccination, the second very important example, when people were hesitating getting that vaccine, and there was so much criticism at one point of time from some quarters about the Indian vaccine being untested. She was amongst the first to get that vaccine, and each election she would stand in a queue and she would vote even at the age of 100, like was in the case of December 2022 elections in Gujarat. Once again, leading by example, Pooja.
That's very important, and remember, despite her age, she decided to go ahead and get that vaccination done, when many, as Gaurav is also pointing out, that hesitancy was so extreme, but she went ahead and did it. She was always seen working till the last few days, and that's perhaps what kept her going for about 100 years. And how incredible is that, a glorious century that she hit on 18th of June. And that perhaps is also a celebration in so many ways of the life that she had lived and seen by example. Previous visuals there coming in of their meetings, and also now these are live visuals from Gandhinagar, the residence where Heeraba Modi used to live. I want to bring in Paulami Saha quickly. Paulami, so Prime Minister Modi should be landing in Gandhinagar anytime soon, and then what does the schedule look like? Because we are being told that the mortal remains have been shifted now to Gandhinagar from the UN Mehta Research Institute.
Pooja, we're waiting for word from the family as to how they will be going about, but the final rites are likely to be performed today itself. Like you've already informed our viewers, the mortal remains of Hiraba Modi have already reached her Gandhinagar residence, where she was staying with one of her sons from the UN Mehta Hospital in Ahmedabad. The Prime Minister is expected to land there very shortly. We were told at about 6:15 a.m. this morning that he's leaving for Ahmedabad from Delhi. So that is about a flying time is about an hour and a half tops. So we should be expecting that he will land in a short while from now in Ahmedabad, and he will be proceeding straight for Gandhinagar. The distance between the airport to roughly where Heeraba lived is about 20 minutes by road, but at this time of the morning and with the Prime Minister's, of course, protocol, it's possibly going to be about 10 minutes in which he will in fact reach the residence from the airport. And then, of course, while the family gathers over there at the residence in Gandhinagar, they will, of course, decide on a time of when the final rites will be performed. The Prime Minister, as we've already informed our viewers, has already cancelled his programs for the day. He was scheduled to be in West Bengal in Kolkata to, of course, inaugurate a few projects, lay the foundation stone for many other projects, which the programs will go on as scheduled in West Bengal. The Prime Minister is not likely to join them, but if at all, there is still that possibility that he could join by video conference because it's a day-long program. That is something that the Prime Minister's office hasn't confirmed, but there is a likelihood of that. So at the moment, of course, he is, of course, performing his duty as the son. He's headed to Ahmedabad, and he should be landing there very shortly in order to pay his last respects to his mother.
Paul, quickly, if you can just take us through some of those visits of Prime Minister Modi and Heeraba Modi. We're running those visuals also on our screen. And we can literally see Narendra Modi change over the years. You know, hair turning more grey. But clearly it appears that Heeraba Modi still as effervescent and fit all these years.
Absolutely. She definitely, in the manner that she carried herself, you could see that, she would smile for the cameras. She was always very positive. She looked like she had a lot of optimism within her. And that is what the Prime Minister has spoken about on occasions as well. And in that open letter that he penned to her on her 100th birthday, that despite the adverse circumstances that the family was living in at the time that they were struggling, at the time that she got married to his father, and then, of course, raised her children as well, they were trying very hard to make ends meet, but that did not deter her spirits. She ensured that there were 3 square meals on the plates of her children, even if she went hungry. His father ensured that as well, that they were well fed, they got their meals, that they were educated, and that was her primary focus. So that is when, he talks about the sacrifices that she made in raising them. That is what Amit Shah refers to as well, when he, of course, pays his condolences to the Prime Minister, because he's, of course, been extremely close to the Prime Minister and, consequently, to the family as well. So he's seen how Heeraba Modi, of course, has raised her children, the conduct with which she carries herself as well, the way she, of course, instills certain values and virtues in her children, and obviously keeping her feet on the ground this entire time, not letting it get to her head that she was indeed the Prime Minister of the country's mother. So that is what she, of course, she led by that kind of example. Extremely simple. She always, like I said, she was always smiling for the cameras. She was never perturbed by the shutterbugs. For someone to be thrown into the spotlight like that, obviously she was used to some of it because he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. So she'd seen her son, in a sense, of course, gain that sort of popularity and become this, VVIP, and of course, someone who was extremely popular as well in his state and across the country as well. She'd seen all of that, but you could see that, she somehow took to that spotlight with a lot of ease. And when, of course, the press went to her residence every time that the Prime Minister was there, visiting her, or on voting day in Gujarat, Lok Sabha elections or assembly elections, she was always very cheerful. She was always smiling for the camera.